Aging doesn't mean getting weaker. Science shows you can rebuild strength at any age, starting today. With the right habits in movement, nutrition, sleep, and mindset, your best years can still be ahead. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming power, living independently, and proving that strength belongs to those who choose it. For decades we've been told that losing muscle is simply part of getting older. We've seen our parents and grandparents shrink, struggle to stand, and gradually lose the energy they once had. But what if that decline isn't inevitable? What if muscle loss is not a biological destiny but a preventable and even reversible condition? Today science tells us a very different story. Age may change our bodies, but it doesn't have to steal our strength. In fact, with the right habits, your muscles can remain powerful, responsive, and resilient well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. The truth is, muscle doesn't disappear because of age. It disappears because of disuse, undernourishment, and a lack of consistent challenge. It fades because we stop sending the body the signals it needs to preserve it. The real tragedy isn't aging. The real tragedy is thinking we have no control over it. In this guide you'll discover the habits and strategies used by the strongest older adults. People who continue to hike, lift, move, and live with vitality long past retirement. We'll break down the science, eliminate the myths, and show you that aging doesn't have to mean weakness or decline. Whether you're in your 50s, 60s, or 90s, it is never too late to build muscle, reclaim strength, and take ownership of your body's future. At the center of modern aging science is a remarkable insight. The right kind of stress, applied in the right dose, can strengthen rather than weaken the human body. This is the principle of hormesis, a biological phenomenon in which low levels of stress trigger cellular repair, enhance resilience, and improve overall function. Unlike chronic stress, which breaks the body down, hormetic stress activates survival pathways that actually rebuild it. This idea is not just theoretical. In practice, it explains why some people in their 70s or 80s remain strong, mobile, and vibrant while others decline. The difference often lies in how the body is challenged. Short exposures to heat, cold, fasting, or intense exercise stimulate powerful adaptations. These challenges push cells to clean out damaged components, build new mitochondria, and reinforce muscle tissue. For example, resistance training creates microscopic tears in muscle fibers. Though it sounds harmful, this microdamage is essential. It signals the body to repair and rebuild with stronger fibers, increasing both strength and durability. Cold exposure, such as ending a shower with 30 seconds of cold water, activates brown fat, boosts circulation, and stimulates adiponectin, a hormone that helps preserve muscle. Similarly, heat exposure through sauna use has been shown to increase heat shock proteins, which repair damaged cells and reduce muscle inflammation. Fasting for 14 to 16 hours a day is another way to trigger hormesis. It initiates autophagy, the cellular process of cleaning up waste and regenerating tissue, improving metabolic efficiency and supporting muscle health. The key in all of these practices is moderation. Too much stress leads to breakdown. Too little leads to stagnation. But the right amount, introduced consistently, builds strength over time. Hormesis teaches us that our bodies are not fragile. They are adaptable systems designed to grow stronger through challenge. For older adults, this means we must rethink our relationship with discomfort. Rather than avoiding effort, we can learn to embrace it strategically. A short cold shower, a brisk uphill walk, a light fast, or a tough workout followed by deep rest are not threats. They are opportunities to engage the body's renewal systems. Aging does not have to mean retreat. It can mean reactivation. Hormesis is the science of reminding your body that it is still alive, still capable, and still worth strengthening. Among all interventions proven to preserve muscle during aging, resistance training stands as the most effective, powerful, and essential. While diet, sleep, and mindset play key roles, nothing stimulates the growth and retention of muscle quite like resistance against gravity. As we age, the body gradually becomes resistant to ordinary levels of effort. This means that casual movement is no longer enough to maintain muscle mass. Without progressive challenge, muscle fibers shrink, metabolism slows, and strength fades. Resistance training interrupts this process and reverses it. It works not just by maintaining muscle but by triggering muscle protein synthesis, improving insulin sensitivity, increasing bone density, enhancing balance, and elevating mental focus. It is the cornerstone of physical vitality in older age. One of the most remarkable findings in geriatric research is that even individuals in their 70s, 80s, and 90s can build new muscle through structured strength training. The idea that you are too old to train is not only false, it is dangerous. Avoiding resistance only accelerates frailty. Engaging in it, however, builds a foundation for independence. The key is not training like a bodybuilder but training with precision, progression, and purpose. The most effective approach involves compound movements that engage multiple joints and muscle groups at once. Exercises like squats, rows, presses, and deadlifts can be scaled for ability and adapted for those with joint limitations. The focus should be on quality of movement, not quantity of weight. Even bodyweight training or resistance bands can produce results when applied with consistency. What matters most is progressive overload, the principle that muscles adapt when they are gradually challenged with more resistance over time. This might mean increasing repetitions, adding weight, slowing down the tempo, or improving range of motion. Equally important is rest and recovery. Muscles grow not during the workout but after it, when the body repairs the micro-tears caused by training. That is why older adults should aim for 2 to 3 resistance training sessions per week with at least 48 hours of rest between sessions targeting the same muscle group. Contrary to fear, resistance training is not dangerous when properly programmed. In fact, it is one of the most effective tools for fall prevention. By improving leg strength, core stability, and coordination, it reduces the risk of losing balance and enhances the ability to recover from a misstep. In the broader sense, strength training is a declaration of agency. It is a way of telling your body that you still need it to be strong, capable, and reliable. It is also a message to your mind that you are still active in shaping your own health. With guidance, safety, and consistency, resistance training becomes not just an exercise but a lifelong practice of vitality. Most people understand that protein is essential for building and maintaining muscle, but few realize that when you eat protein may be just as important as how much you eat. This concept becomes even more crucial as we age because older adults experience a natural decline in their ability to use protein effectively, a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. In younger individuals, a single high-protein meal may be enough to stimulate muscle growth, but in older adults that same meal has a blunted effect. The solution is not just to eat more protein overall but to spread it out evenly across the day to maximize the number of times your body can engage in muscle protein synthesis. Studies show that distributing protein intake evenly across 3 meals results in significantly greater muscle preservation compared to consuming most of your protein in just one meal. In practice, this means aiming for around 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For many older adults, this requires a shift in habits since breakfast is often the meal with the least protein. Swapping cereal or toast for eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a protein smoothie can make a major difference. Lunch and dinner should continue the trend with lean meats, fish, legumes, tofu, or dairy playing a central role. What matters most is not just the total grams of protein but the amino acid content, especially leucine, which is the key trigger for muscle synthesis. High leucine foods include eggs, whey protein, chicken, salmon, and soy products. These should form the core of each meal. It is also important to understand that more protein does not always mean better results. The body can only use a certain amount of protein at a time for muscle building. Excess protein consumed in one sitting is more likely to be oxidized for energy or stored. Therefore, it is more effective to consume moderate amounts frequently than to load up on a single large serving. Timing is equally critical around exercise. Consuming protein within 1 to 2 hours after resistance training enhances muscle recovery and growth. A balanced meal or protein shake post-workout helps replenish amino acids when your muscles are most receptive. Consistency over time is the real driver of results. Making protein distribution a daily routine builds a long-term environment for muscle maintenance. For older adults who struggle with appetite or digestive issues, smaller frequent meals with soft protein options like soups, stews, and smoothies can be helpful. For those with limited mobility or lower activity levels, protein remains essential to prevent muscle loss even in the absence of intense exercise. In summary, effective protein use in aging is not just about how much but how often and how well it is absorbed. By spreading intake strategically, choosing high-quality sources, and timing meals around your activity, you can fight muscle loss more efficiently and maintain functional strength for years to come. Vitamin D is often discussed in relation to bone health, but its impact on muscle is just as profound and far less appreciated. Referred to by some researchers as the muscle hormone, vitamin D plays a crucial role in activating genes responsible for muscle protein synthesis, calcium transport, and neuromuscular coordination. As we age, our ability to produce vitamin D through sunlight exposure declines sharply. Older adults generate up to 50% less vitamin D than younger individuals under the same sun exposure. Compounding this, many seniors spend more time indoors, wear more clothing, and have diets low in vitamin D-rich foods. The result is widespread deficiency. Studies show that more than 70% of older adults have suboptimal vitamin D levels. This deficiency is not harmless. Low vitamin D is directly associated with reduced muscle strength, slower reflexes, poor balance, and increased risk of falls and fractures. It also contributes to fatigue, joint discomfort, and even cognitive decline. The muscle cells themselves have specific receptors for vitamin D, and without adequate levels these receptors cannot initiate the pathways needed for muscle maintenance and repair. This is why seniors with higher vitamin D levels consistently demonstrate better physical performance and greater independence. In one large study, older adults with optimal vitamin D levels were 25% stronger and had significantly faster walking speed and balance scores compared to those who were deficient. Maintaining proper vitamin D levels is not difficult, but it requires awareness and intentional habits. Sunlight is the most natural source. Exposing the face, arms, and legs to midday sun for 15 to 20 minutes can support production, but this is often insufficient in older adults due to skin aging and lifestyle limitations. That's where supplementation becomes important. The recommended daily intake for older adults is generally between 2,000 and 4,000 IU per day, depending on individual needs and baseline blood levels. For optimal absorption, vitamin D should be taken with a meal that contains fat. Equally important is pairing vitamin D with vitamin K2, which helps ensure that calcium is directed to bones rather than soft tissues like arteries. Without adequate K2, high-dose vitamin D may inadvertently contribute to arterial calcification. Fermented foods like natto, aged cheeses, and grass-fed animal products are good sources of K2. Regular testing of blood vitamin D levels can guide your dosage and prevent both deficiency and excess. The target for older adults is typically 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. Improving vitamin D status is one of the simplest yet most impactful changes you can make to support muscle health. It is low cost, low risk, and high return. Combined with protein, movement, and quality sleep, vitamin D creates the internal environment your muscles need to stay strong. For many older adults, addressing this single nutrient can result in noticeable improvements in energy, balance, and confidence in daily movement. While macronutrients like protein, fats, and carbohydrates often receive the spotlight, micronutrients are the quiet powerhouses that support every metabolic and muscular process in the body. These include essential vitamins and minerals such as magnesium, zinc, selenium, chromium, B-complex vitamins, and antioxidants like vitamin C and E. Though required in small amounts, their impact on health is enormous. They act as cofactors for enzymes that regulate everything from protein synthesis to energy production to inflammation control. In the context of aging and muscle health, micronutrients are often the missing link. A deficiency in just one can impair the body's ability to maintain or build muscle regardless of protein intake or exercise. Magnesium, for example, is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions, including those critical for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and ADP production, the basic energy currency of cells. Older adults are especially prone to magnesium deficiency due to lower dietary intake and reduced intestinal absorption. Low magnesium levels have been associated with muscle cramps, fatigue, and decreased performance. Similarly, B12 plays a vital role in nerve health and red blood cell production. As stomach acid declines with age, so does the ability to absorb B12 from food. This often leads to fatigue, numbness, poor coordination, and in more severe cases, muscle weakness. Supplementing with the methylated form of B12 can bypass absorption issues and restore function. Zinc and selenium are crucial for immune health and protein metabolism. A deficiency in these minerals reduces muscle regeneration and increases inflammation. Chromium supports insulin sensitivity, which is essential for delivering nutrients into muscle cells. Even mild deficiencies in these micronutrients can create an internal environment where the body struggles to retain lean mass. Antioxidants like vitamin C and E help reduce oxidative stress, which increases with age and contributes to the breakdown of muscle tissue. Including a wide variety of colorful fruits and vegetables, as well as nuts, seeds, and whole grains, is essential to ensure broad micronutrient coverage. For many older adults, even with a healthy diet, supplementation may still be necessary due to absorption changes or medication interactions. A targeted multivitamin or individualized supplementation plan based on lab testing can address specific gaps. It is important not to rely on guesswork but to make decisions informed by actual nutrient status. Micronutrients may not be as glamorous as protein powders or workout routines, but they are just as important. Without them, your efforts to stay strong may be undermined by invisible weaknesses. Think of them as the software that tells your muscles how to run. Without updates, the system stalls. But when supported correctly, these small nutrients unlock the full potential of every rep, every bite, and every night of sleep. Inflammation is a natural defense mechanism that helps the body heal after injury or infection. But when inflammation becomes chronic and persistent, it shifts from being protective to being destructive. This condition, often referred to as inflammaging, is a silent yet powerful driver of aging-related diseases and functional decline. For older adults, chronic low-grade inflammation quietly undermines muscle mass, interferes with protein synthesis, and accelerates tissue breakdown. Even in the absence of obvious illness, elevated inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein can signal an internal environment that is slowly eroding strength. Over time, this unchecked inflammation reduces physical performance, weakens immunity, and increases the risk of frailty and falls. The muscles become resistant to anabolic signals and less responsive to exercise and nutrition. Fortunately, inflammation can be modulated through daily choices. Diet plays a central role. Whole foods rich in antioxidants, fiber, and healthy fats help combat inflammatory pathways. Vegetables, berries, fatty fish, olive oil, turmeric, and green tea are all known to reduce systemic inflammation. Processed foods, excessive sugar, and trans fats, on the other hand, promote inflammation and should be minimized. Sleep is another powerful regulator. Poor sleep increases the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, while consistent deep sleep helps restore immune balance and cellular repair. Older adults should aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep in a dark, quiet environment. Movement also matters. While intense, unregulated exercise can increase inflammation, moderate regular physical activity has anti-inflammatory effects. Activities like walking, swimming, tai chi, and resistance training in appropriate doses help reduce inflammatory markers and preserve muscle. Gut health is another critical factor. The gut microbiome influences immune signaling throughout the body. A diverse, fiber-rich diet that includes fermented foods such as yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, or miso supports beneficial bacteria that regulate inflammation. Chronic stress is often overlooked but plays a major role in inflammation. When stress becomes habitual, cortisol remains elevated and contributes to systemic inflammation. Practices like deep breathing, meditation, nature exposure, and positive social interaction can lower stress hormones and protect against inflammation. Supplements can also help when guided by evidence. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil, curcumin from turmeric, and polyphenol from berries and green tea have all shown strong anti-inflammatory effects in clinical research. Regular monitoring of inflammatory markers such as high-sensitivity C-reactive protein can help detect and manage silent inflammation before it leads to muscle decline. In essence, aging does not have to be inflamed aging. Through conscious choices in food, sleep, stress, and movement, we can reduce the silent fire within and create an internal environment where muscle, energy, and resilience can thrive. Muscle strength is not just a function of muscle mass. It also depends on the brain's ability to communicate effectively with the muscles through the neuromuscular system. As we age, the connections between the nervous system and muscle fibers begin to weaken. This results in slower reaction times, reduced coordination, and impaired balance. Even with adequate muscle tissue, if the brain cannot recruit those fibers efficiently, strength and control suffer. This is why many older adults feel unsteady even when they appear physically fit. Rewiring the brain-muscle connection is essential not only to build strength but to use it effectively in everyday life. The process begins with neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections and pathways in response to activity and learning. Older adults can still build these neural pathways with the right kind of stimulation. One powerful method is practicing movements that require precision and coordination. Activities like tai chi, dancing, table tennis, or even juggling engage both the brain and body. These movements activate motor neurons, challenge proprioception, and demand real-time adjustments that improve balance and neuromuscular signaling. Compared to passive exercises such as walking in a straight line, complex coordinated movements stimulate more brain regions and promote greater long-term connectivity. Another method is isometric training, particularly overcoming isometrics, which involves pushing or pulling against an immovable object. These efforts require maximal neural drive and reinforce the mind-muscle pathway. Even brief 5-second contractions help improve recruitment and firing of motor units. Breathing practices can also enhance neuromuscular communication. Techniques like box breathing stimulate the vagus nerve, which plays a central role in calming the nervous system and improving muscle control. Regular breathing work improves focus, reaction time, and voluntary muscle activation. Cognitive training is also valuable. Mental tasks that challenge memory, focus, or coordination can activate the same brain regions responsible for movement. Solving puzzles, learning new skills, or playing memory games can complement physical training. Combining cognitive and physical challenges into one practice multiplies the benefits. Emerging research even suggests that imagining movements can enhance performance. Visualization activates motor pathways and improves readiness for action. Athletes have used this technique for years, and older adults can benefit just as much. A key message is that building strength is not only about the body. It is about retraining the control system that powers it. The nervous system must be engaged and exercised just like muscles. Without this connection, strength cannot be fully accessed or maintained. But with the right tools and consistent practice, older adults can sharpen their brain-muscle connection, restore coordination, and regain the confidence to move with power and precision at any age. Knowledge alone is not enough. The real transformation begins when insight turns into action. To help bring the science to life, let's walk through a week in the life of a superager. Someone in their 70s or 80s who continues to move, think, and live with strength and clarity. Monday begins with a 10-minute box breathing session followed by a breakfast of Greek yogurt, berries, and a scoop of protein powder. After a short walk in the sun to support vitamin D, they engage in a full-body resistance workout emphasizing compound movements. Lunch is a lentil and salmon salad, rich in fiber, protein, and omega-3s. The evening includes reading a new book chapter and sipping green tea, reinforcing both neuroplasticity and anti-inflammatory habits. On Tuesday, they practice Tai Chi for coordination and balance, followed by a high-protein breakfast with eggs and vegetables. They keep moving with household chores and gardening, both of which provide natural resistance and functional mobility. Lunch includes a quinoa bowl with grilled chicken and colorful vegetables. They take time in the afternoon for mindfulness meditation and prepare a warm turmeric stew for dinner. Wednesday focuses on recovery. A morning walk in the park supports gentle circulation. Breakfast includes cottage cheese and walnuts, providing magnesium and healthy fats. They take a short nap, hydrate well, and spend time in conversation with a friend, nurturing emotional health. In the evening, a light stretching session followed by slow breathing helps promote deep sleep. Thursday includes overcoming isometric training using a towel or door frame to challenge maximal tension for 5-second holds. Meals are evenly spaced and protein-rich, including a tofu and kale stir-fry. They engage in light intellectual activity, such as a memory game or learning a new skill online. Friday returns to strength training with a focus on lower body. A morning of squats, glute bridges, and step-ups is paired with a post-workout protein smoothie. They prepare a dinner of baked trout with steamed greens and olive oil. Saturday is their sauna and mobility day. After a sauna session or warm bath to stimulate heat shock proteins, they follow with mobility drills and light yoga. Meals are plant-forward, emphasizing diversity and color. They write in a gratitude journal and spend time with family or community. Sunday is about reflection and restoration. No formal exercise but plenty of movement through leisure walking or dancing. They enjoy a fiber-rich brunch, call a distant relative, and plan meals for the week ahead. They end the day with journaling, gratitude, and a sense of accomplishment. This routine is not rigid but intentional. It adapts to energy levels, preferences, and lifestyle. What matters most is consistency and the integration of movement, nutrition, mindset, and recovery. Being a superager is not about perfection. It is about commitment to vitality and the belief that your strongest days can still be ahead. Aging is inevitable, but decline is not. What we often accept as normal weakness, fatigue, or frailty in later years is frequently the result of neglect, not nature. The science is clear. Muscle loss can be prevented and even reversed. The nervous system can be rewired. Metabolism can be reactivated. Balance can be restored. Energy can return. These changes do not come from luck or perfect genetics. They come from small, consistent choices made every day. You do not need a perfect body or a perfect plan. You need understanding, intention, and a willingness to start. Every part of this guide has been about showing you that change is possible and within reach. Whether it is through resistance training, protein distribution, hormone support, micronutrient balance, inflammation control, or brain-muscle reconnection, the message is the same. You are never too old to get stronger. Your body is always listening to your habits. When you challenge it, feed it, rest it, and believe in it, it will respond. And while the process may take time, the rewards are life-changing. More energy to play with your grandchildren. More confidence to walk on uneven ground. More independence in daily life. More joy in movement. The goal is not to avoid aging but to age with strength, dignity, and purpose. You are not at the mercy of time. You are an active participant in how your body ages. The science has given us the tools. Now it is up to us to use them. Start small. Stay consistent. Celebrate each gain. One deep breath. One healthy meal. One short workout. One restful night. Each one is a step forward. And each one is a vote for the kind of life you want to live. Strength is not reserved for the young. It belongs to those who choose it. Let this be your reminder that your strongest days may still be ahead of you. You are not done yet. Your body is not done yet. There is more energy in your cells. More strength in your muscles. More clarity in your mind. And more life in your years. Own it. Live it. Prove to yourself and the world that aging well is not a privilege. It is a choice. And it is one you can make today.